Hey, hello.
Hey,
Good evening, guys.
good evening.
Hi, good evening.
We'll get started. We'll get started in like another 2 minutes. We'll wait for all the teams and the jury members to join, and then we'll get started in another 2 minutes.
Hi, this is Shweta here.
Hi, hello, Shweta ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. I don't know who was I'm actually on the road a little bit, but I should be at home in like 15 minutes, but I have good network. Just wanted to let you know if I miss something.
No issues, no issues. We're just getting started. We're waiting for all the juries and the learners to join.
Ah,
So we'll get
oh,
started in another 2 to 3 minutes.
okay, thank you.
Um, Hi, Siddharth or Bhavish, could you please confirm if your third team member is joining?
Yeah, he should be joining. Let me just check with him.
Okay. All right, let's get started for today. Good evening, guys. Good evening, dear jury members and audience. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday evening. My name is Joji, and it's a pleasure to be your host for the next couple of hours. The Institute of Product Leadership proudly welcomes you all for the Skillathon of Generative AI Product Management by the cohort of the AI Product Management Certification Program. Our participants will present their innovative solutions, and our esteemed juries will evaluate them on key parameters. As Skillathon Go, it promises to be an evening filled with excitement, challenges, and skill demonstrations. This is an event where the top shortlisted participants from the cohort present their hands on projects and portfolios towards assurance of skill to demonstrate AI driven validation and market insights, experimentation plan and feasibility, Gen AI prototype and architecture, AI value roadmap, and ethical frameworks. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the audience and the jury for joining us on this Saturday evening. Today's session is going to be exciting and will definitely have some great learning takeaways. The cohort will walk the talk of IPL mantra, learning by doing. The audience will not just witness it live, but also get a chance to vote and choose the winner. I'll get to that in a bit. Let me begin this session by giving you an insight on what skillathons are and why IPL emphasizes on skillathons being the real test of skills. Skillathon is an event where the top performing learners demonstrate their understanding of a skill and the application of the same in the context of a real world product idea as part of their learning journey to industry experts and other learners. At IPL, we have replaced examinations with skillathons and studying with learning by doing. The Institute strongly believes that the real test of skills is by demonstrating your idea to live audience and other industry experts. Today we have a prolific jury of three, and I would like to welcome them one by one. So first up, we have Madan Karthikeyan, who is a Senior Director, Head of AI at Infosys. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We would like to know more about you. So if you could please share a few words about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Give me a second. Yeah, yeah. So good to meet you all. So this is Madan. Been with Infosys for last 22 years, and I head the Agentic AI Center of Excellence for Infosys. So yeah, good to meet you all. Looking forward to hear what the team has done, and then probably not only be a jury, but also see if we can learn along the way as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, a very warm welcome to the event. Next up, we have Shweta Shandilia, who is the Managing Director of Data and AI at Accenture. A very warm welcome to you too, ma'am. We would like to know more about you, if you could share a few words.
Hi, everyone. Very pleased to join this jury and meet everybody, and looking forward to all the discussions that we are going to have here, and looking forward to all the you know teams that are going to participate. So all the best to them. As far as I'm concerned, I have been working in the data and AI area for throughout my career for the last 25 plus years. I had a long stint at IBM for 21 years, and I've recently joined Accenture. Uh, to lead the data and AI platform and group that they are, building, that they're helping to build from a platform perspective. So I'm looking forward, to see what is there in store for this Skillathon. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Purnachand Kalyampudi, who is the Vice President of Data at CITUS AMC. A very warm welcome to you too, sir. If
Thank
you
you
could
so
share a
much.
few words.
Thanks, Joji. So, good evening, all. I hope most of you guys are working on this product A development, etc. So, it is very pleasure to meet you guys. I've been working in this particular domain for the past 15 years, and have several stints with Cisco, HCL, and product and service-based company. Co-founded several small startups as well, and Generative and Agentic AI especially. I would love to get more experience and more idea from you guys what kind of products you are building and what you want to show. Thank you so much. Looking forward to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Purnachand, sir. So a very warm welcome once again to all the juries, and thank you for taking your time to join us for today's Skillathon. Before we start, let's take a look at the guidelines for today. The guidelines are as given. We have 10 minutes for each team for the presentation, followed by a 5 minute of Q&A and feedback by the juries only. The juries can cast their votes on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, and juries can announce the scores aloud. Once the presenters are done, audience, please keep your phones ready to scan the QR code on the screen and cast votes for your favorite teams. So let's begin with the presentations for the day. First up, we have Siddharth, Bhavesh, and Arun. Surya Arun.
Let me share my screen. Suji, can you confirm if you can see the screen? Everyone can see the screen?
We can see your screen. Team, you can start. At the end of 7th minute, I'll give you a heads up, and at the
Sure.
end of 10th minute is a hard stop.
Sure.
You can start right away.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, the jury and the audience. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Today, our team, Bhavesh, Surya, and I, Siddharth, are presenting our idea on Talent Link, which is bridging the resume black hole with conversational Gen AI matchmaking. Hiring as a small business owner usually feels like a second full-time job where you are stuck writing job descriptions and drowning in resumes that don't even fit. We call that the resume black hole. Our product, TalentLink, will fix it. TalentLink is an AI hiring partner that writes job descriptions for you and instantly handpicks your top 3 matches so you can stop sifting through the noise and get back to running your businesses. TalentLink's key value proposition are 50% reduction in time to hire, 90% less manual screening time, and top 3 AI curated best fit matches. When we talk about TalentLink, we are not just talking about products or features. We are talking about 3 real people whose work life are currently a bit of a nightmare. Let's look at why they need this. Our first persona is founder Farah, who is a visionary in a time crunch. She knows the vibe she needs, but lacks the HR jargon to write a professional job description. She is currently hiring at 11 p.m. via messy WhatsApp messages. Her jobs to be done is brain to text drafting. TalentLink will turn a 30-second voice note into a polished, market-ready job description instantly. No more Googling templates for her. Our second persona is Manager Manish, the filter between chaos and quality. His pain is he's drowning in 200 plus resumes. He hates keyword filters that reject hidden gems just because they miss a buzzword. His jobs to be done is conversational shortlisting. Instead of a pile of resumes, he gets the top 3 matches through TalentLink. The AI reads just like him. He understanding that team lead means management experience, even if the title is different. Our third persona is Director Dilip, the legacy builder modernizing the flow. He's terrified of hiring paralysis, where roles stay open so long that the team burns out and the company suffers from ghosting, and the company's brand suffers from ghosting candidates. His jobs to be done is process velocity. TalentLink will provide a no geek speak workflow that ensures a 1:3 interview to hire ratio. He moves the agency from resume black hole to hiring confidence without needing a complex HR department. For Farah, Manish, and Dilip, TalentLink isn't just a software, it's the moment they move from hiring anxiety to hiring confidence. Our strategic goal is to capture 25% small and medium business market share in the next 18 months. And the KPIs that we will be focusing on are time to shortlist from 14 days to under 2 hours, 85% quality match rate, and 90% retention. I will now pass it on to Bhavesh to take you further.
Perfect. Thanks, Siddharth. So now before we started building anything, we needed to pressure test the assumptions on our entire product set that we had. So we identified 5 key assumptions and ranked them by the risk, but the 3 highest risks, which made most sense to us and were the deal breakers, were if any of these are false, the business model will not work for us. So first, can the AI's top 3 shortlist actually match the quality of an experienced human recruiter? Second, will SMB owners trust an AI enough to hand over their shortlisting decisions? And thirdly, will volume hiring managers like Manish actually pay 5 to 10,000 rupees a month for this? So to test this, we designed a 90-day experiment plan, and we split that into 2 phases. The first was for 30 days, which is the discovery phase, and we ran a concierge test where we manually screened 50 resumes using semantic logic for real pilot users and conducted deep dive problem interviews with 10 SMB owners to understand their skepticism around AI in hiring. So our bar was set to a satisfaction of 8 out of 10 and at least 6 out of 10 owners willing to try AI if it includes a reasoning summary. In the second phase, which is the months 2 and 3, the validation phase. So we move to a side-by-side comparison of AI shortlisting against a human recruiter's pick for the same role and launched a free instant GD generator as a landing page to measure whether it could drive low-cost lead generation as well. So our acceptance bar was very clear that it was 70% overlap with human recruiters and over 15% conversion from the free tool to an email sign-up. So these experiments eventually gave us the confidence to moving into prototyping. So as we go next, which is the next slide, with our assumptions validated, we build a working prototype, not a slide deck, not a concept. It's a real deployed application. So the talent link dashboard delivers two high value actions through a single chat interface. The first is a conversational GD drafting. So business owner types something as casual as I need someone who can handle Instagram ads to talk to clients. That's simple. And the AI instantly turns that into a professional structured job description. No forms, no templates, and no HR jargons for the person. The second is the smart candidate matching. So the system scans the resumes database and presents a top three shortlisted candidates, each with a plain English summary explaining exactly why that person fits the bill, right? And then under the hood, if I go a little deep into this, so this is powered by a RAG system in the backend. And when resumes are uploaded, they are chunked into 1,000 tokens blocks with a 200 token overlap. So no skill or experience gets accidentally cut off in half. So these chunks are vectorized and then stored in AstroDB on the backend. And then when a search happens, the system runs a cosine similarity search to pull the top 10 most fit resumes and relevant candidates. And not just it is not just through a keyword matching, but actually meaningful matches. So those chunks are then handed to GPT-4 Omini, which reads the actual resume text, selects the final top three profiles, and then formats and sends a structured response to the user. So in short, the architecture is clean. User interfaces with the Next.js dashboard. Requests flow through a secure API gateway that keeps credentials on the server side. Then comes in the AstroDB for vector retrieval, GPT 4.0 mini for inference, and back to the user as a formatted shortlist. So everything is hosted on Vercel with automatic deployments from GitHub. Now, to take you further into the prototype, I will hand it over to Surya, who will walk us through.
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. 3 more minutes.
Yeah,
Sure.
before I walk through the prototype, before I take you through the prototype, I'll just cover the value roadmap and ethical plan. So let's pivot to execution. So how we scale commercially while maintaining absolute ethical integrity. So we do this through our outcome-driven roadmap and ethical oversight plan. So our commercial roadmap scales into three deliberate phases. One is MVP, which is core utility. So conversation JD drafting and matching for a 10 resume pilot. So our key targets are under 3 minutes to post and 8 by 10 satisfaction core. Our second phase is version one, where we are planning to scaling the engine. So here the expanded we are no we are planning for expanded candidate pool and automated outreach, and which targets for 85% quality match rate and 90% user retention. Coming to the third phase, like it's a market expansion, and also WhatsApp integration and referral engines to capture 25% SMB market share and hit around $2.5 million in ARR. And our ethical oversight coming to this. So scaling fast is meaningless without scaling safely. So we built our first guardrails into our product. The one is algorithmic bias. So we anonymize all PII before matching and use capability first mapping that ignores candidate names and universities. Second is transparency. So no black boxes. So we provide plain English, so why this person explanations in the clickable citations and clear AI disclaimers. And also coming to data privacy, so shielded end-to-end encryption, a zero data retention AI policy, and severe site token isolation. And coming to the misuses, so we are planning to have strict human in loop, so that the AI cannot automate rejections. A hiring manager must personally click to decline a candidate. So now I'll present you the prototype. So can I get the option to share? So let me know if you're able to see my screen.
We can see your screen.
Yeah. So this is the control dashboard. So this dashboard right away tracks around 11 vacancies and 38 candidates applied for these 11 vacancies. And also we have two different workspaces. One says about conversational JD AI, another is candidate metrics.
So let us go to the conversational JD. You know, as already Siddharth mentioned, like instead of copying, can I just
Um,
spare 1 minute?
yeah, please take 30 seconds to run.
Yeah. So instead of copying the JDs, we can directly, start a conversation with this. Like, for example, can you help me generate JD for social media manager? So what is happening? The system process this input and let us see how cleanly the output gets generated. So we also, gave a backend instructions to,
Sorry,
sorry,
I'm sorry, your time is up.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll now move on to the feedback and questions by juries.
So yeah. If I just have 5 seconds, I'll just show how this works.
You can keep the screen on so maybe they can see the
Yeah.
output. Okay.
So this is the output, and here is how I'm going to do the candidate matches.
Can you show us the reasoning part of it? How does the matching, and how would somebody look at whether what's the reasoning for matching this?
Oh, sorry, I didn't get you.
Can you show us the reasoning section or explain us how the reasoning, what sort of algorithm and how does it do the reasoning to match the candidate and the job description?
So we just in the Langflow workspace, we just gave this prompt. So first we gave this guardrails, like the context pool contents. Sorry.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So both candidate resumes and corporate job descriptions, and when matching or ranking, you must only evaluate human candidate resumes. And coming to the format rules, do not use any hashtags or hashtags. That is what we have given. And also we have given the page routing constraints. So if user inputs ask generate or write or refine any job description, execute only when generating job description instructions and do not include any candidate metrics. And also in the match metrics, do not output a blank job description layout. And when generating the JD should be in this structure. And when we are matching the candidate profiles with the JD, it should follow these instructions like return only the top 3 unique human profiles from the context pool and focus on actual capability transferable strengths. And also we have given every single profile represents a completely separate individual. If multiple paragraphs look like they belong to same background, merge them. And also structure each profile output exactly like this, and that is what we have given as a structure here, like name of the candidate, and also match score, match quality, top matching skills, missing requirements, transferable strengths, risk flags, short hiring summary, and also interview recommendations. Also,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. That explains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a small question. It's less technical, more of product based.
Yeah.
How does your GTM look like? Point number one. And other thing is, I didn't see any file type compatibilities. Does everything is all types of files are compatible, like not docx, doc, or anything from product per se?
So it can read PDFs, docs, and other files as well.
So that's fine. How does your GTM look like? Let's say, how do you take it to the market? What do you want to do in the next phase when everything is good?
Yeah.
Did you think about it?
So in first phase, we are targeting, as I told you, we are targeting for minimum viable product. So core utility like generating JDs and matching with the profiles. In the second phase, so we are planning to scale the engine. and we want to expand, expand the candidate pool and automated outreach. And also we are planning to target for 80%, 85% quality match rate and 90% user retention. In the third phase, we want to expand, we want to expand this product to the market and also integrate with, WhatsApp and referral engines to
Understood.
capture 25% SMB market.
Understood. And one last question, a small thing,
Yeah,
that when I see the rubrics, the dashboard which you have presented, right? There is 11 and there is 38. So you're
yeah,
saying for 11 positions, you have 38 candidates, right? So
exactly.
who will be looking into that? So let's say whether the candidate has or anybody has that access to see that, or only the recruiter only will be able to see that, because that can give a fair amount of pros and cons from both
Yeah.
the sides.
So as of now, it is only for the recruiters.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Purnachan sir. Madan sir, your
Yeah,
questions and feedback.
yeah, sure. So just to continue on the GTM question, right? Let's say if someone asks when you take to the market, assuming that, right? If someone says, "No, I can upload the resume in Gemini and I can ask you to give the top three resume, I can get it," right? What is the differentiation that you are offering? If that's the question someone posed to you, what would be the answer for you?
So we are at a very nascent state right now with this prototype. This can be very much customized to an organizational values and what sort of parameters and weights they want. So when it goes to Gemini, they have their own model, they have their own concepts on how they want to evaluate it. But this can be very much customized to individual firms. What makes most sense to them for a candidate for a given position. So that's going to be our USP as we go forward and build that portfolio.
Yeah.
Can you just double click when you say customization? What kind of customization that you think you can offer to the organization, or whatever customization you will make uh, that will position your product in a differentiated way?
So I'll give you an interesting fact. The system prompt that Surya just demonstrated to Shweta's question, there were a few set of parameters which we are evaluating right now, for which we gave you just the demo, on which we gave you the demo. But from a resume perspective, how that resume has been documented, what is that brief description about that candidate? Because there is a description up top, usually in the resumes, that we still follow that format. That what is my background as a candidate, where I come from, and what is my expertise. You can also nurture in the concept of culture fit in this model, and which will give you very close matches, which is we are still practicing that right now, practicing in the sense we are playing around with it. So you will still be able to shortlist candidates which will be very close to your culture fit, which we usually identify very late in the game. So that's going to be an additional USP, but we are still evaluating that. Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
Like adopting to as per the company norms or rules, whatever it is.
exactly.
But,
Yeah.
thank you, guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Juris, for your feedback and questions. Let's move into the scores. Shweta ma'am, we'll start with you. If you would like to give a score from 1 to 5.
I'll give 3.
3. Thank you. Thank you so much. Purnachan sir, your scores for team 1.
I'll give 4.
4. Right. And Madan sir?
3.
3. Thank you. Thank you so much, all the juries. Audience, please scan the QR code on the screen to cast your votes for Team 1. We'll take 20 seconds to do that and we'll look at the poll results.
Thank you everyone for the opportunity.
Thank you. All the best.
Okay, let's take a look at the audience poll for Team 1. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, team. Great presentation and great product. All the best. Now we'll move on to the
Thank you.
second team, Saumadeep and Irshad and Merinjai.
Yeah, hi, hello everyone. Let me start sharing my screen. I hope you can see.
Yes, Merin, we can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to the judges, and thank you for providing this opportunity. Today, we are going to present our product idea called Complete AI. Along with me is Somadeep Sarkar from Nokia, Mohammad Ishad from JP Morgan Chase, and myself, Maren Joy from JP Morgan Chase. Okay, now along with us, we want you to meet one more person whose name is Priya Campaigner, right? And Priya Campaigner is someone, is like any marketer in the world who tries to identify the competitor gap in the market. Okay, so there is an offer campaign going on, and there is a gap against that which she wants to take benefit of it, and customers are already trying to find alternatives against that particular campaign offer which is ongoing. She gets the leadership approval, she gets the brand team in time, and she starts drafting the email campaign which needs to go to the end customers. But then the pain point starts, which is your legal review. Because anything you need to get it legally reviewed, or anything you need to send it to the end customer needs to be legally reviewed, especially when you're working in your fintech, sector, right? And by the time it's already 3 weeks, the legal review begins at week 5. Legal takes its own good time and then comes back, takes about 5 to 9 weeks, and then comes back, hey, your lowest guarantee rates are, it's not a fair RBI practice, or you need to change these claims and all. Again, revision cycle begins. Again, Priya has to reach out to the brand team and make those modifications. So the revision loops continues, right? The revision loop continues and takes another 10 to 14 weeks, right? So by the time your campaign is ready and it's execution ready and it's about to reach the consumers, it's already 15 to 17 weeks, right? So once the campaign finally launches, already the consumer demand has cooled down. Okay, the opportunity which Priya was targeting has closed, right? The window is closed. Now I also want you guys to see how typically an email campaign looks like. Okay, so this is a medium-sized campaign, and you can see everything, right? Whatever you see, the content, the images, the disclosures at the end, this all are considering as a content, and this together goes as an email campaign, and that is the reason it takes so much time to review, right? Now coming back to the slide, right? Now we understand the problem statement, right? But is there anyone who can immediately help us? Are there, like, competitors, or the users who, I mean, the products existing in the market, who can solve the puzzle from content generation to the approval workflow? So we did deep dive, and we found that there are few players in the market, but does it solve the entire puzzle? No. So that is where Complete AI comes into picture, who helps you, hey, from content generation to the audit trail or the approval workflow. This is what our product idea is. And this product idea also can help in multi-industry as well, which will come down later to our coming slides. Now we understand the business case, right? And what is an average approval cycle time as well. But before, with Complete AI, how much time it used to take? After Complete AI, how much savings we have? That is what, from 12 weeks, can we bring to 7 days? Yes, it's possible. With Complete AI, we can do that. In fact, it's 90% faster. The manual effort, review effort is reduced about 90%. And how much amount it is saved? About 36 lakhs of amount saved in a year. And even from the campaign publishing as well, right? From the baseline where we are just, from 15 weeks, we are targeting only one campaign. Can it be increased to 2x to 4x increase? That is also possible with Complete AI. AI solution. And the investment are asked from the jury is like, how can we get 89 lakh of investment for an year return of 2.46 CR with a payback period of 5 months? And we will deeply explain about what these numbers and how we reached out to these numbers, right? Now, before talking out the numbers, who will be our primary users? The primary users will be just like we saw Priya campaigner, right? Who starts drafting the campaign or who takes help from branding to draft the campaign. Her revision cycles reduce from 4 to 6 revision loops. When we talk about Anand Legal as well, the legal team who reviews the campaign, right? Their time where they spend is like about 70% time. Can that be reduced? Yes, we can reduce about from 70% of time, which is about 2,400 hours of time, which will get reduced. And Bikram Business, who is someone who is head of retail or who wants to push more campaigns, right? From 1 to, how can they reduce it from 15 to 17 weeks? Can they reduce it for five to within 5 days? Yes, we can do that. And before that, right? So again, how we identified this major problem is like we did a deep dive of persona and identifying, like, we did an in-depth survey as well, right? That to identify that what is the pain block. So what we could understand is like from the pain points, the legal review is the primary bottleneck, and that is why the reason why we are trying to solve for legal review first, right? And the amount what we mentioned, right? So in a top 5, right? We have, when we talk about financial institutes, about 19,000 crore is spent in a year for against a 400 campaigns per year. Now the hours how much we are trying to solve will be saved is about 2,400 hours for 36 lakh savings. Then revenue acceleration, regulatory penalty avoidance, all this account to 2.4 cr. But the cost, what will be accumulated for that, right? Like the LLM API, the vector DP, the system integration, the product team cost, the legal SME cost accounts to 89 lakh. Moving on, I'll hand over to Somadeep.
Yeah, thank you, Marin. And I will talk about the product and the features that we have. But instead of showing you the slide, I'll directly show you the version that we have created. And let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so this is the POC that we have created. And in the POC, we are trying to show you if we have to generate a campaign about a product specific to a financial institution like personal loan. What is the campaign context? It is the festival season offer. Then what is the target segment? What is the brand?
Sorry to interrupt, team. You have 3 more minutes.
Yeah, it's a brand tone. What is the urgent and trustworthy, and the key message? This is the main message of the campaign. And if we click on this, it should first talk about based on the various regulations that is part of this knowledge base, where how far it is matching, and then it will help and generate the content for us and it will also show us the risk factor. Okay, so based on the message that we want to generate, it is saying that the compliance confidence is 45%, means that it is high risk. And these are some of the flagged things that the application was able to bring out. And this is the content that we would like to generate. However, we have to review the flag, and based on the flag, we have to modify that. So there is another pipeline which is called compliance review. So here the reviewer will see, it will either say that these are the things which have got high confidence, where these are the items where we have to modify some of the things. However, if the reviewer is fine and it says we will approve, then we can approve it. We can request for a revision. We can also as well as reject. If we approve, just in case, I'd like to show you one thing, that though it is of high compliance and we should not be approving it, but if we approve, it shows that it has been approved, and then we can also generate a content, the campaign content from here with a designing, but it's a plain designing that we can use and generate. But for the sake of time, I will hand it over to Mohammed to take you through the rest of the slide. We have only few more seconds, Mohammed. Sorry.
Can you stop sharing?
Madam, can you start sharing?
Yes.
Okay. Quickly moving on. So, as the slide says, today the content creation in the AI world is no longer the bottleneck, right? Anybody can create content, but having a legally compliant content is important. Every campaign in a regulated industry goes through marketing, legal, compliance, risk, and brand reviews. As campaign volume increases, the review cycles become slower, costs increase, and time to market suffers. So the result is faster approvals using Comply AI, lower risk, and complete audit trail is present in the tool. Basically, we are moving from
Team, you can take 30 seconds to wrap up.
Okay. Basically, we are moving from compliance after creation to compliance by design. Moving on, these are some of the numbers. We are starting with fintech, which is the most heavily regulated industry. We believe, and once we crack fintech, we'll be able to expand it to pharma, healthcare, legal, and full industry platform. And we have put the extent to which the money is spent in marketing campaigns today across industries. And our focus is primarily we are starting with email first, but then we will expand it to other content creations like push notifications, SMS, digital ads, and other things, right? So let me stop with this. So today, large US financial institutions spend between 500 million and 2 billion annually on marketing. And then we believe that future does not belong to organizations that generate the most content. It belongs to
Thank
organizations.
you. Sorry to interrupt, Irshad. Thank you so much. Your time is up. We'll now move on with the feedback and questions, and we'll start with Madan sir.
Yeah, thank you. Well presented. Now, I think you mentioned about the different pain points at the different part of the life cycle of this entire campaign, right? Now, as part of your MVP, you also mentioned that you do automatic regulatory checks and also you check against policies, etc. Do you have any content that is specific to marketing or past historical failures or historical regulatory rejections, etc., that is also embedded as part of your product? Or how are you? I mean, what is the knowledge or the industry knowledge that you are baking into the product?
So I can take that. So the model by itself has historical information of what the market campaigns has run and what the issues we have run into, right? So the primary purpose of this is to say that we produce content which are regulatory compliant, right? Which will be embedded, and it will also show you references of where we pick the data from. The model will show you references of which regulatory requirement we are referring to and how it is compliant in the way we are displaying the content.
So in addition to Mohammed's point, like previous past campaigns also is references there. And in addition to that, how can the legal jurisdictions, right? What all laws and like FDIC or CFPB. So all that rules and regulations are also embedded into this model. So that is how it trains and recommends the content generation.
Okay.
And one of the things that we are heavily invested on is like in AI, the content is abundant, right? Trust is scarce. That is what we're trying to build. Like trust is a product for us, and then
Can I repeat the last part? What did you say?
In the age of AI, the content is abundant. We have a lot of content. Anybody can generate content, but how do we generate a content which is quicker to approve, regulatory compliant, and trust is what is important in the product, right? That's what we're trying to build.
But if you are relying on models data, how are you controlling the trust factor?
So a model relies on the previous campaigns that have run, and also we look for we do ingestion. Right? Legal tools are ingested prior to providing the content using the tool. So we have references, like we can go back and check whether we got the data from right sources or not. That's one of the point. Like Perplexity provides references, right? Like we can go ahead and check whether the references we provided are true or wrong, like correct or wrong. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Madan sir. Next up, Shweta ma'am, your questions and feedback for
Yeah,
team.
can you help me understand that, what are you using in order to, or, how are you generating the models? Like, what's your base? What are you working on? How are you creating these models, which are much more regulatory compliant? And what are you doing in that area?
So I can take that up. It's a RAG-based model. And what I have done is I've used Claude Code to generate the app that you have just seen. And we are ingesting all the required information. And then based on that information, so it is not going and fetching the web. It is generating everything within the ingested knowledge base that we have. And especially for the regulation kind of thing, we have to rely on it. So those are our checks and balances that we have. But it's a RAG-based application at this moment. Yeah.
So, the regulatory industry is very different for different parts of the world.
Yes.
Right, like the
Yeah.
regulatory industry that is in India is very different for the regulatory industry that may be in Europe or US, and that's why the content would also need to be specific or would need to comply to some of those when you're generating content for those. Have you thought about how to take care of that?
We at this moment it is only relying on the Indian context, but that's a good point, and we should definitely look into that because, as you rightly said, each industry will have a different regulation as per the geography, and we should definitely look into that. But we will take this up as an enhancement kind of thing. Thank you for this.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Shweta ma'am. Next up, Purnachand sir, your
Yeah.
feedback question.
Yeah, so this is a really good one. So this particular idea would be very much helpful for so many, I would say, industries, unorganized industries, because we have huge unorganized sectors. But having said that, on emphasizing on the same lines, there should be something called traceability. So the traceability metric or traceability log, which we will be showing, how does it look like if you have something in your mind?
Traceability, if you can a bit elaborate.
So I think I
Yeah.
I think when the content gets generated, right? So references against when the legal team reviews it, it will give against each process. There will be a references from where they picked up, like like
Right.
which regulation, like RBIC. So that is already there in that drag based, model
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we are
it is
speaking.
there. It is there.
Hmm.
Like Mohammed already explained that how Perplexity uses the exact references and all. But when you talk about traceability, whether the references are genuine or not, we cannot continuously look into the Wikipedia articles or the articles or content which can be altered rather than published from a genuine source. So how do you look on that? Because that is what very important when it comes to a specific domain, especially the healthcare.
Yeah, you are right. I think we have to also think on that line because at this moment our main concentration was on
Understood. Yeah.
the financial institution, but that's a good feedback for us as well. Though in the app we did try to bring the other sectors as well as a drop down, and it will accordingly try to go into those regulatory documents. But we will definitely work on this. But that's a good feedback from us.
And
Yeah, and the one small thing is that the risk score. I've seen 45% as the number, some
Yes,
value you kept, right? So will
correct.
there be any logic you have defined, or is it trained output through LLM only you have received?
Through LLM only.
How do you
So
say that 45%, or I mean, how do you define that bands, I would say?
e- we have given certain parameters, like if the claim that the campaign is making, it is very much getting deviated from the original content, then obviously the factors will influence the risk score. For example, if for example in fixed deposit, in a mutual fund of thing, if you say that we will give you a guaranteed return, that is immediately a flag for the model to understand, no, this is not possible. So this will reduce the score. Wherever for a fixed deposit, if it says that, okay, we will give you guaranteed return for a certain period,
Okay.
So
There is
those are
specific,
some of the
yeah, there is a specific intent behind asking this question because you cannot fix it to all domains at the same time. A small 95% of score in a specific domain is completely different with respect to the same 95% score in other domains. Because when it comes to healthcare, insurance, and all, you have the acceptancy or the ratio, the risk score should be even less.
even less. Yes, yes,
Okay, so it's
we understand. Yes, but again, these are all. I think as we progress, we will have to cater to all this
yes,
different sectors'
more
requirement,
nuances
more
at
nuances into
in
it.
individual domains. So
Right.
generalization part is the only thing which I'm more concerned about. How do you put it? How do you come up to a specific output?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks
That's
a
it.
lot for the feedback. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Purnachan sir.
Thank you,
Right.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll get into the scores. Madan sir, your score for team 2?
Yeah, 4.
4. Shweta ma'am, your scores for team 2?
4.
4. And Purnachan sir, your scores?
Yeah, 4 from my side.
Very good. Okay. So thank you, juries, for the feedback and the scores. Audience, it's your time. Please scan the QR code on the screen to vote for Somadeep, Irshad, and Merit. We'll take 20 seconds and we'll resume. All right, let's look at the audience score for team 2. All right, great going, guys. All the best. Let's move on to team 3. Saurabh, Tazidik, and Annie Rose.
Share my screen. Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, your screen is visible.
All right, thank you. So good afternoon, judges, all the audience and participants. I would like to thank all of you all to give us this opportunity to present our product. So today, Tasdeeq, who is my co-presenter, Saurabh is one of our team members. However, he's out of town, so he's not able to be here today. But we will be presenting on our product, which is called Creative Match AI, AI-powered creative asset intelligence. So before we begin, I would like to, call out what creative is. So what are creatives and what are we trying to match over here? So creative is nothing but any kind of communication which goes out to customers from the marketing team. Okay, so it could be any industry. It could be banking, hospitality, retail, any kind of communication which goes. So if you look at any advertisement which goes through various channels, right? It could be a mobile app, it could be TV ads, it could be email, print media. You see a bunch of components in that advertisement. So there would be the company logo, there would be some very attractive images, there would be content, what are the offers, what are some really good attractions over there, as well as the terms and conditions at the bottom of the page. So the entire page which you see as an advertisement or a marketing ad is what we called as creatives. Okay, so now creative is a part of our product, and what are we trying to match? So I would like to say a little story over here. So Ria is a head of campaign operations, and she gets a urgent request or urgent brief saying that we have to launch a credit card and we need to launch this campaign for all young salaried customers.
So she goes to the senior creative lead, Kabir, and she's trying to understand why is he going through all the creatives, the old creatives which are already there when trying so hard to get all the information to build a new creative or to create a new ad for the launch. So what are the pain points that you see over here? One is the campaign pressure. So this is urgent. We need to get it out in a certain period of time. Second is the asset hunt. So we have to put in a lot of manpower, a lot of man hours to kind of go through all the assets which were there in the past, which we've used, which we can probably reuse. Next is the hidden cost. Of course, all of this would not come cheap. If it's going to take time to do, it would definitely lead to cost. So here comes our ideation of AI and AI opportunity, which we've seen, where we can match our creative assets. So moving on, so the core problem, right? So there is no single source of truth. So there is no one place where we have. One is that we don't have one single repository which houses all of these creatives. Some could be in email, some tools. It's scattered across. There is zero content intelligence, which means that it is not tagged or categorized in a way that you can pull up this information quickly. And the third one is rework at scale. So we have to rework and continuous. It's time consuming. So what we have noticed from our research and from our experience is that most of the campaigns, especially when it comes to huge industries, it takes about 4 to 6 months. So there's a lot of planning, lot of execution. And again, when we say a campaign rollout, it is an end-to-end, right? Where a marketer comes up with a plan. Okay, this is what we need to market. It goes to the creative team. From creative team, it goes to the legal team. And like the previous group presented, getting the legal approval itself is a big deal. And then it goes back to the market and approvals, and then it gets published. So the whole process could take about 4 to 6 months. And we also identify that the content which is used is like 70% of it is reused. Okay, so here this is the problem statement. So now comes our solution. So what is the AI powered solution? One is auto classification and indexing of all the creatives, all the assets. So when I say assets, right, when you saw that creative which we shared, so every component of it is an asset. It could be images, the content, the terms and conditions, the disclosures which come at the bottom, all of them. So if proper classification and indexes is done, it can be tagged in a way that you pull it up faster. Second, our AI agent will go through all of the existing assets in the database and come up with smart recommendations that based on the intake. So if a marketer says that, okay, this is all that we need in a campaign, based on the information or the intake that is entered, the AI agent would go ahead and recommend the content. And the last one is frictionless asset reuse. So we already have the asset, we are going to reuse it. Moving on, so what is the business impact? So from a 4 to 6 month time frame, we are targeting at something like a 1 to 2 days. There would be a higher asset reuse of about 30 to 40% increase in the asset reuse. The brand and compliance consistency would be like, there would be fewer rework for each of the cycles. The time saving is about 60 to 70%. Production cost saving is 25 to 30%. And there is overall improved campaign agility. So this is all the business impact. Now I'll hand it over to Tasdeeq to take it forward.
Thanks, Ani, for walking the team through our creative match AI. So I'll quickly go into the target statement that we are looking at. So we are kind of focusing on a high campaign heavy sectors like banking sectors, retail, e-commerce industries, which basically has a huge volume of creatives and which volume of campaigns that they roll out to, right? So now we need to understand why these segments and why this matters, right? So to be precise, we aren't just targeting any marketing team, right? So we are targeting organizations where creative reuse is already a recognized necessity, but is completely choked by slow, manual, and unstructured process, right? So marketers are basically wasting, weeks digging through old emails, servers, drives, just to find the right asset and to use them for their campaigns. So now that we've identified this segment, I quickly want to, show the product before we jump into our our plan. So what you see here is basically a application which basically gives our creative agencies, our marketers access to their entire creative repositories, right? So they basically come in here, and they will basically land on this page where they have access to the entire asset repository that was created for any previous campaigns. So they can just go in there, look, provide the context, and this basically will give them the entire asset library. Right, so this is they basically can use any of these tags library to find the right asset for them. So now for any new campaign brief, right? So they just come in here, they just give in a natural language processing, say that I want to create a new campaign for Diwali, basically for any new card member, right? So you just give the prompt to the system, and basically it will go and find the right asset for you, and you'll see that, okay, this is basically the asset that we already have, and this is already pre-approved by legal and regulatory, right? So basically it gives them a quicker turnaround time, so that because the content is already there. So there might
Sorry
be
to interrupt, team. You have 3 more minutes.
Thanks, Julie. So yeah, so they basically have okay, the assets are already there. They just need to probably tweak few of the content, because as Annie had said before, 70% of the content is basically can be reused across campaigns, right? So that basically gives it a huge turnaround time for them to kind of here leverage that. Now, basically, this part of the application basically gives them access to basically to upload new assets, right? Whether it can be or an image, it can be a video, it can be an email, it can be any document, right? They just go into the system, they upload all those documents, and the system would basically smart tag all the content based on the based on all the rules that's defined behind the engine, right? So, and then comes the brand compliance. So this is where all our compliance data is kind of mapped. So for example, we need to recertify or recertify the content, right? So we can't just an offer is not active throughout the year, right? So an offer is kind of rolled out for a given period. So they basically this will tell them that, okay, there are certain content which needs to be recertified, so that they can be reused again for any future campaigns. Right, so this is basically what the tool does. I just wanted to quickly, I know we have not done the integration with the UI and the backend part, but I just want to quickly just show you exactly just for one given campaign what exactly happens. So I just used the campaign which Annie had shown earlier at the HGC credit card system, which was showing up, right? So what it does, okay, I'll just go here. So what it does is basically it scans through the entire creative, and it kind of starts mapping the tags which was previously put in place, right? And based on that, it will start saying, okay, this is the campaign, or this is the tags that has to be mapped against this creative. And basically what it will do is basically it will say that, okay, we found these specific keywords, and it will basically say, okay, I found that HDFC Millennia was mentioned on the card, right? And then based on that, it will start recommending those credits for them. So now I'll quickly move on into the cost benefit. So what you see here is basically the cost. On the left side, you see the cost to kind of build the application, which kind of includes your engineering and infra, the LLM API cost, onboarding and migration, right? And on the right, what you see is basically, the savings that any agency or any user would save by using this product. I will quickly move on since I just have a couple of more minutes. I'll keep the roadmaps. I'll just quickly run through, the details of strategy.
You can take 30 seconds to wrap up. That's okay.
Sure. Actually. So the detailed strategy, basically, we have divided into three, discipline: land, expand, and scale framework, right? In the first 4 months, we basically land by running experimentation and basically, collaborating with basically some partners to see how do we get how is the system working, and basically get the use case and the data out of it, right? Then the expand comes in, where basically it's like 5 to 10 months, where we kind of capitalize the data we got out of the first stage, and basically use that to leverage and scale the product. And then comes the scaling part, right? Where basically kind of we try to scale the platform exponentially by productionizing the model, and we basically launch integration with different systems like the workflow system. Then we have the approval systems, and basically have all these different CMS systems, right? So that's where we go. So just to quickly conclude, the
Sorry, team, your time is up. We'll now move for the feedback and questions. And let's start with Purnachand, sir. Your feedback and questions for Team 3. Sir? Purnachand, sir, are you there?
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I just want to understand. There is the initial one. It's all about creative match. You said, right? How do you? So I want to understand how do you match the matching algorithm? Whether it is if it is qualitative versus quantitative versus image versus audio versus video. So what file type? Because the entire intention is regarding a specific product or specific brand or anything, right? So do you have any segregation in terms of the type at which you are matching, like in the
Right.
back end, how
So
it?
yep. So the way it works, basically each industry has their own taxonomy built, right? Say for example, I'll take banking as an example. So say a specific card, right? So say HDFC provides say 10 different types of credit cards, right? So and each of them kind of offers unique experience to the customer. Say for example, card A provides that okay, if you use this card, you get you know 10% cashback. If you use this card, you basically get, offers on Myntra and stuff like that, right? So we basically kind of structured those, what do you say, the experience that they provide, and then train the model on that. That, okay, if you
So for
basically,
example, just sorry to cut. For example, I use different apps to listen to the music, right? So will there be any suggestions with respect to, the current music apps do have their own content, top songs or language based songs, etc. Right? How do you create a recommendation engine on top of that based on the historical data or the train data of what you have?
right. So again, this is more in terms of your creative campaigns, right? Which can
Okay.
be your email campaigns, it can be your, print medias and stuff like that, for which
Okay.
basically has, those emails has gone out to the customers. So we
Okay.
know that, okay, this is the, campaign which is there in before. And then based on that, we try to train the model basically, right?
Okay. It's not something novel you are doing. You are more of an upgradation of what already
Correct.
existing, right?
Correct. So right.
Correct.
So basically,
Okay.
again, as I've said, we had those taxonomy defined for any given card or for any given product that a bank has, right?
Understood.
And we kind of
Understood.
classify them, said, okay, if this is the content, this basically kind of caters to say a credit card product that HDFC provides, and basically it is tagged to say a cashback rewards and kind of tagged to your Myntra cards, right? So basically, when a new brief comes in, let's say for example, they say, okay, I need a new creative which will provide 10% cashback on when they use this on Myntra and stuff like that. It basically goes and looks on all those tags, which is kind of mapped to those creatives and said, okay, I see that there are matching creatives which is already there.
The mapping structure has been implemented in the
Correct,
backend for each and
correct,
individual
correct.
type.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. Right.
Thank you so much, Purnachand, sir. Shweta, ma'am?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Have you? I'm trying to understand the value in terms of the fact that your most of the product here is based on the tags and and the value that comes out of how you tag the assets, right? There are a lot of competitive products in the market, both on the digital tagging of the images or photos, as well as the data assets as well, small, big, open source, and all of that. So I'm trying to understand, how have you looked at those, and how do you uniquely differentiate your this product versus those? What would be the value that you will bring out?
Sure. No, that's a great question, right? So there's a lot of tools like you have brand folder, you have Adobe Suite, you basically have Binder, which
Exactly.
basically does all
Yes.
those taggings, right? But Creative Match AI is not just limited to tagging, right? So what it does, it tags the content. That's the initial step. And then for any new campaign, it basically goes and tries to match that tag and then recommend in that, okay, this is the content that you can reuse. Now, what happens, say, for example, the Adobe Suite, which they have, right? They basically is a pretty complex one, which has a lot of integrations now, right? So now it basically they just allow you to kind of host images at this point in time and then kind of recommend that. But however, this is basically based on creatives, right? So it's not just images, it's basically creative content as well. So it look at the entire content plus asset and then start recommending, okay, this is the creative for you, which is not built in on any of these CMS system or all these tagging systems, right? So this is more of a tagging, which is the initial part, and then the recommendation of the content based on any creative, any campaign brief, which the marketers will start putting on the system.
Okay, so are you saying that your differentiating factor here is it could also be an email, it could also be a image, it could also be a logo, it could be any of the things on which you're tagging, and the Adobe suite kind of keeps those two differently right now. It keeps the text different and the images and the binary content differently. Okay.
And this would create the entire creative along with all the content, images, and the terms and conditions. So it will give you an entire recommendation of a creative.
Are you also thinking of building like connectors and other things? Like how do you map to a lot of different tools which manage some of this content?
Yes. So again, so this is just the content piece of it, right? Because whenever there is a marketing campaign going on, there is a lot of workflow tools, as you rightly said, right? Say an intake tool. So there will be integrations as well with intake, and we are planning to kind of integrate with the orchestration engines. Say for example, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, right? It basically that's where you kind of send those communications out. So we will plan to kind of bring all those systems together, right, for intake, from intake till to rollout, so that we have an end-to-end system in place where we can just go into an intake, get into the system, get the campaign and immediately roll it out via your orchestration system. So basically, we are just trying to reduce the entire cycle, which probably used to take around 4 to 6 months before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very complex piece of work. The connectors and everything is not simple. That's the most complex work. This work is very simple. The moment you are looking at the asset class and, not asset class, the assets and where these come from and how you're going to get this, that is the most important piece of work here.
Yes.
I think matching is not, and tagging and matching is not the not the key value here. I think how do you get to those source systems where these things would be, as you go to the enterprises, as you go to smaller, they'll bring in different type of places or holders where these assets will be there. And you will have to make sure that you connect to them and you're bringing in them in and matching them and tagging them. That's where the value will come.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a great point, right? Because I think the system itself will not make sense, because that's the end-to-end journey is what will, reduce that entire timeline.
Okay, thank you so much, Shweta ma'am. Madan sir, your feedback and questions.
Yeah, I just have one quick question. In a lot of these assets, I think you stress on reusability. Now, people also would like to make some small changes whenever, in all these images, creating the full version is easy, but making that extra 5-10% changes is always difficult with these AI tools, right? Are you planning to have a solution for that once they pick an asset, how easily they can modify without counting multiple times to change it, right?
Yes, I think what we are planning to do is basically put guardrails of what change requires a full scale, new approval, and which does not require an approval. So, for example, you have the system recommended a creative, right? And then they basically has made a change, say for an offer from 5% to 6%, right? So that's basically a change on the offer percentage. There's no change in the context of how the content will be, sent to the customer. So basically, that does not warrant a legal or regulatory change, because that comes in whenever you are changing the entire content, right? And then basically, say you are changing a lot of content, that's when there will be a suggestion that, okay, this content has to go for a full scale, a legal approval. And again, this will it will give the content, recommend a given content, but again, human in the loop is absolutely needed, because this kind of pertains your legal and regulatory requirements, right? Because you can't just send out content to the consumers without having those approvals. So yes, so again, we will have those guardrails, like when will the approval be did. So in case the content is recommended by the system, there will definitely be a human in the loop which has to review and say, okay, this content is good to go.
Sir, you're muted.
Oh, no, that is all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, juries. Let's move on with the scores. Purnachand, sir, your scores for team 3.
I would give 3.
3, okay. Shweta ma'am, your scores?
3.
And Madan, sir?
I'll go with 4.
All right, thank you, juries, for the feedback and the scores. Audience, it's your time. Please scan the QR code to vote for Tasaddiq and Annie. We'll take 20 seconds and proceed. All right, let's take a look at the audience poll. Thank you so much, audience, and thank you, team. All the best. Let's move on with the final presentation, Paritosh, Gaurav, and Kritika.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen while my colleague is going to, start the session. Just give me a moment. Yeah, over to you, Gaurav.
Awesome, thank you. Hi everyone. Good evening and hi sharks. I'm Gaurav this side, and I'm along with my team Paritosh and Kritika. We are here to solve problems of BGV companies, right? So, in to give you the context, like in recent times, in recent years, the BGV hiring volumes have increased significantly. So the BGV industry is expected to grow up to $40 billion in the next 5 years. Okay, so it's like a 7 to 12% of CAGR growth, which is a kind of healthy growing industry in today's world. And if you see that India is likely to become a very, one of the largest BGV markets, because the expansion of contract and gig workforces, the hiring volumes that startups and GCCs are having these days. So these are the primary reasons why Paritosh, I, and Kritika decided to start our own venture called as Very Trust AI. So it basically is an AI-powered solution that solves the pain points of BGV companies. Now, the problem, or the biggest problem of this company, or of this industry, is not scaling. It's not just scaling, but it's scaling without spending proportionately. If someone is giving me volumes of business, but I'm not able to cut down on costs, then it doesn't make sense for me to sustain, right? So moving on to the next slide, wherein we will talk about why it matters right now the most, is because the hiring volumes have surged like 3x in recent years. The sophisticated frauds have gone up by 85%. And with Gen Zs coming into the workforce and leveraging AI, the tolerance for delays has really gone down. So which is actually on the positive side. Going on to the next slide is basically we'll talk about the persona. And in a nutshell, the persona that we are showing here, which is Priya, who is the head of operations, her role is to manage clients and not be operations, not let operations be the reason for losing out clients. By of course, maintaining the margins by cutting down on the costs and automating the repetitive tasks. Going on to the next slide, we'll talk about what is the future. So BGV companies are now trying to position themselves as trust intelligence as a service instead of verification as a service. So they want to reposition themselves by leveraging high-end tools like AI-powered solutions like we have. So I'll hand it over to Kritika to take you through the further slides.
Yeah, so now that we have understood the problem and the vision behind Veritrust AI, let's look how the solution work. So we designed VeriTrust AI around 4 key capabilities. So if you see, you could see the first one is document intelligence, which automatically extracts and validates the information from resumes, payslips, experience letters, and other supporting documents. The second is verification assistant, which helps the investigators to quickly identify discrepancies and generate structured verification summaries. The third is risk intelligence, and the fourth is geo intelligence, which is there in our roadmap, which we will eventually cover it. So going on to the next slide. So together, these capabilities, they reduce repetitive manual work while helping investigators to make their work much more fast and more consistent and make better informed decisions. So however, we all know that technology alone doesn't create value. It must drive a measurable business outcome. So that's why we have VeriTrust AI with 3 strategic business goals. So the first one is growth, enabling BGV providers to handle higher verification volumes without proportionally increase the operational effort. The second one is retention, improving client experience through faster turnaround times and greater transparency. And the third is margin improvement, reducing the cost per verification by automating repetitive analysis tasks and improving investigator productivity. So ultimately, our goal is to help the B2B companies scale efficiently while still maintaining the quality. So going on to the next slide, before building the solution, we wanted to validate whether these challenges truly existed in the market, and we conducted a small research. And our research revealed that 90% of the respondents expressed moderate to high concern regarding hiring fraud. We also identified that industry's biggest operational pain points were 83% highlighted slower turnaround times, and 82% highlighted lack of transparency, and so on. What's interesting is that these findings they align exactly with what our VeriTrust AI is supposed to do. So after validating the problem, we used cluster analysis to segment the market into 4 distinct groups. So you can see we have like turnaround time seekers, fraud protection leaders, and cost optimizers, and compliance focused organizations. So for now, our primary target market segment is the faster turnaround time seekers and fraud protection leaders. So the reason is simple, because we are planning to first approach them and then later expand our market to the other segments as well. So with the validated problem and business objective, I'll now hand it over to Paritosh to walk you through our roadmap and demo.
Thank you, Kritika. So before I get into the actual product demo, just want to give a touch base on our roadmap, and this roadmap is something which is aligned with what our vision is, and even what like the survey revealed, that probably faster turnaround time and fraud protection are probably the most important items which the BGV companies are looking for. So if you look at our, the Q1s are basically, to extract the information. We leverage OCR capabilities to extract the information from different types of documents. So there can be standard documents, unstandard documents, ability to address all of those. And then, like when we move on to the Q2 part, basically, identify the anomalies in the documents, like the different salary slips or the experience letters, or it could be the anything, another kind of documents, so the mark sheets and all of that. And at the same time, maybe also get into the parts of geo intelligence, wherein like the pin codes and geotagging of images can be helped to identify if there is any thing that can raise an eyebrow. So with that, I'll get into the actual application. So in the demo, so this is kind of an application which can be used by an operations head as well as an analyst. So both of them would have a different view. So I'm logging into an analyst, wherein when an analyst logs into the application, they'll be able to see how many active cases are there, and then, at what different stages of verifications, the verifications are stuck, and then the total number of cases.
Sorry to interrupt, Paritosh, you have 3 more minutes.
Okay, thank you. So, what cases are stuck, and, if there are any flagged issues, they can be raised. And in case a new case needs to be created, so what more we are doing is basically why to start background verification post selection of a candidate. Why can't it be started pre-selection, where the resumes are being scrutinized. So when a resume is uploaded, system can identify your job matching profile, plus also identify the discrepancies that can be either, if there are too many discrepancies, so the resume can be rejected, or if there are certain smaller ones, they can be used as a talking points within the interview. So this is something which can help in cost reduction as well as saving of time. You interview only which are the relevant candidates. And then, when a BGV case is launched, so in case of let's say we're talking about employment verification. So there can be different types of, anomalies. So as simple as like, Tech Wave Solutions Private Limited was mentioned in the resume, but in the experience letter it was Tech Wave System Limited. So kind of, basically double checking on all these items. And if, let's say, pay slips are being uploaded, so system can help identify, your AI can help identify, let's say the salary figure 94,500 appears to be in a different, font type as compared to the other ones, right? So it was Arial while others were Calibri. So this, basically raises an eyebrow that there is something wrong, because the document has been tampered with. Similarly, with your DPIs, your dots per inch, there is it shows difference in the dots per inch for different text. So these are some of the ways in which, a quick fraud detection can be done. Similarly, with education, like it's a mark sheet. System is identifying that, for a particular subject, there is a different DPI, like 288, and also at the same time, system can also identify, basically what system says is that this 94 number is basically significantly higher than the candidate's average, using statistical means. So this is something which is absolutely possible, but system job is, it's trying to find all kind of anomalies possible, and alert the analyst. So with that, I'll get into, given the time we have, some kind of a financial analysis that we have done. If BGV companies are using various trusts, how much money they can save, and what others could be the benefits. So first, more important thing is the capacity constraint. So with current fragment and manual BGV systems, so they're, which is highly capacity dependent. So let's say they can do it.
Paritosh, please take
Yeah.
30 seconds
Yeah.
to wrap up.
So let's say they are limited to 1,000 validations, but with Veritrust, so it frees the capacity by 70%, due to higher efficiency and all. That means with Veritrust they can verify somewhere around 1,700 candidates in a year, which and plus the ability to cash on the premium AI segment, they can increase their revenues at the same time, reducing the cost. That increases their profitability by 117%. And let's say this Veritrust, we are charging them some annual platform fee plus usage revenue. So they'll be able to get the ROI within 12 months. And we have also done some kind of an analysis, like if with these kind of customers, what would it take for us to reach a break even? So with such 8 customers, like 8 BGV, we can reach our break-even point.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much, team. Your time is up. We'll move on to the feedback and questions by jury. Shweta ma'am, we'll start with you. Ma'am, I think you're on mute.
Sorry. You mentioned initially that you have done some level of research with the market on this particular use case of BGV. And the percentage and the verifications that it shows you, how much of that you see in the market is actually manual happening right now versus, I mean, I want to revalidate, like, the numbers that you see. Are there no tools right now which these companies are using? Like, can you explain a little bit about your validation theory that you have done?
Right. So there are 2 types of pieces. One is what can be done through a tool, what tools are available, and what is it that cannot be done through tool. So one thing which we validate is like, basically geo verification, address verification. So normally what happens is there are companies who are further hired by BGVs, local candidates, and then they go and take the pictures of the addresses and then, they post them. So this is one thing where we feel our AI-based geo intelligence can help. Second is the kind of the tool. So yes, see, OCR document extraction is not a big deal. I think all the companies can do that. But how can we further, combine it with other pieces? So for an example, we talked about, detection differences in your, what do you call DPIs and the font analysis. So that's where we did some kind of analysis. Like there are different AI-based systems like OpenCV libraries and all of that, which can be combined with AI system, to identify such anomalies which are basically, a naked eye cannot determine. Second thing is, the tools. So currently, if you look at the standard tools, there are very limited limitations to those tools in terms of the information that they extract. For structured document, they could be very good, but for the unstructured documents and different variations of the documents, like the words and PDF, they have certain limitations in terms of the accuracy. That's where AI-based, OCR tools can help. Like we have Tesseract and other ones, which can help in, in extracting the information with a higher accuracy.
Thank you. Thank you, Shweta ma'am. Purnacham sir, your questions and feedback.
This is a very interesting and need of the hour kind of use case, which I would find. So I have one, two, three, four things. One session, three questions. One, the first one is when you mentioned the number of respondents, I would like to understand. I didn't get the count. So on what basis there will be huge, I would say, biasness towards a specific respondent type, right? So diversity of respondents should be pretty good when you get to a conclusion based on the insights.
Okay.
Right, that's one first thing. And the second thing is very important thing, I would say, your product processes PA information, right? Usually this product is very much important with respect to data governance side. So it process across different jurisdictions, if I'm not wrong. Who owns the liability when a verification goes wrong? This is uh, this is the one most of the BGV companies faces as a challenge. Okay, so these are the typical questions I have. And from product perspective, the revenue. So the revenue is actually tied to the hiring volume because you are linked to the BGVs, right? So what happens if the revenue slow down? So you are the hiring slows down, then don't you think the revenue slow down? Yes, of course. But in that scenario, do you have anything in your mind in terms of cross sell or upsell options? So usually BGVs can go hand in hand with the HRMS or payroll kind of options as a cross-selling product. So if you have included, then your revenue or your opportunity to increase the value will go up. Okay, so two questions and then the last two are suggestions.
Okay, so I'll start with the last one, wherein you talk about, let's say we are going through a bad pace, and then the hiring is reduced. Right. So, right, as you currently mentioned, this system can be integrated with the current HRIMS system. Plus, we can also look at other ways, wherein we can enhance this application to probably harness the nearby areas of background verification. So, it could be like I showed, and then this could be one thing. I think the first demo that we had was, like JD building and all of that. So, see, these things can be coupled with such items to make it more powerful. And then, it helps in an integrated workflow. It's where the, information starts and where the information goes. And then there could be premium fees for different pieces of the functionality within the application. That's one thing. Second is, yes, PI data, that's very important. And, see, our thoughts are basically to mask the PI data. And we also believe that, let's say it shouldn't be if we have information of a particular candidate, we just, verify it and discard it. This is something which can also be used within our RAG intelligence, wherein this information can be maintained within our application, because if such the same information comes through a different company, who's like, let's say a candidate was hired at a company X, and then maybe 3 years down the line that, another company Y1 has that candidate. So, if there was an information available, that can also be used to determine if anomalies, let's say something changed between these 3 periods, if there is anything. But at the same time, like ensuring that the PI data doesn't get lost, whereas in your security, I think cyber security is very important from that perspective, that, nobody can get into our application and steal that information. Secondary is using all your, tokens and, masking all the information and using, tokens and all, to, like we segregate the PI information and then we pull it out only when it's required and using certain validation technique, right? And what was your first question? I think I forgot that one.
Yeah, I was asking more about a respondent mix, the diversity of the respondents, because the initial analysis which you showed, that there are these many options. People are more things. People are thought that this is correct, this is not correct, this is what they wanted to show. So how is your number of respondents who took the survey varies? So is it inclined towards a specific region and all? How do you make sure that it is more of a avoiding the biasness towards that particular responses output?
Right. So I would say that right now, probably our assumption was, like the IT services company where we took the responses. But yes, to ensure that there is no bias, probably we should extend those such surveys to other domains as well, like the healthcare companies or maybe the manufacturing. And I think the more probably one of the important ones is your deliveries, like your Zomatos and Swiggies. That's a separate game altogether. From if we take the service to the operation side from those such companies, I'm sure we'll see some different results, and probably, there could be other pressing issues as well.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
And also to answer your another question that you had asked, like what if this goes wrong? Who would be responsible for that? So the analyst would still be responsible. So it just helps with the workflow. So they have to manually review each and everything. Still, it just helps them to do faster. So,
Yeah, the human in loop concept. So that's
Yeah,
the
human in loop concept.
main thing which I would like to.
Yes.
Thank you, Purnachan sir. Madan sir, your feedback and question.
Yeah, yeah, quick one. So there's a couple of challenges. In this particular domain is one. A lot of offline information they collect actually, right? The delays in offline and the response they get from universities or institutions or organizations, right? That's one of the major time factor that delays this entire process. Second, uh, the amount of back and forth happens with the submitter, right? Right? I mean, right, and that is also another cause of delay. I think you solved once everything is out there, how to expedite it. I think you have solved it. Any thoughts on those high time consuming activity, which of course is a combination of digital and non-digital and a lot of other things, which contributes to the major delay in this process? Because delay in BJV is a delay in everything, right? I mean, for service organizations, it will be delay in revenue. For product organizations, delay in productivity or whatever, right? So, any quick thoughts on this?
Yeah, right. So I understand, because I have seen cases wherein the BGV completes only after the candidate has onboarded, and in fact, number of cases I have seen, and then if those candidates are asked to leave, so it's a big loss in revenue for such companies. They have to ask a person to go and then have to start another cycle of hiring, which is cost of onboarding, and then where especially in kind of a services company, your billing gets impacted, right? What we thought is basically, like, say if it's universities where we want to verify the information, probably we'll try to open up some kind of, not open up, but try to collaborate with different set of universities wherein, we can ask them to share their information with us on their need to know basis, not, like they dump everything to us. So those could be, kind of tie-ups that we can do with the university so that, if a verification is required, can be done as quickly as possible. And similarly with let's say if we talk about the candidate who has been hired. So one thing is, I think that currently the whole process of reaching out to the candidate is offline, it's fragmented, basically through emails. One is we would like to have an outreach piece within the application itself that can be used to, basically do an outreach to the candidates, to measure the progress, to send the reminders and all of that, like everything within one application, so that different application don't have to be used. And second thing is, probably, we can think of our more better ways of to collect, like, reaching out to the candidates through phone, and then having some timelines, giving them updates through messages that your this piece is pending. Like, let's say, what if we have a whole I would say the whole workflow, the whole steps, there are, let's say, 10 steps, and then where the candidate light. So, such thing could be shared through to the candidates on WhatsApp, that, this is pending from your side. If, and then tell them if it's not done by this, then the whole thing gets cancelled, to, to make them aware that, this process has to be, so that they are also appraised of what's going on, bringing in transparency, and also try to make a certain push to uh, you know, uh, get the things done as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, juries. Let's move on to the scores. Shweta ma'am, your score for team 4?
It's 3.
3. Purnachan sir, your scores?
I would go 4.
4. Madan sir?
3.
3. All right. Thank you, juries. Audience, for one last time, please scan the QR code on the screen and vote for Paratosh, Gaurav, and Kritika. We'll take 20 seconds and resume. Okay, let's take a look at the audience poll for team 4. All right, thank you, all the team members and jury members for your time on this platform. Before we announce the winner for today's Skillathon, I would like to request the jury members to accept our certificate of appreciation and share their experience on today's Skillathon. For that, first, I would like to call on Madan sir. Please accept the certificate of appreciation on behalf of IPL, and we would like to hear your experience on today's Skillathon.
Yeah, thank you, Roji, and thank you, participants. I think, first of all, the kind of problem statement that everyone took, especially bringing out the business benefits, right? Instead of talking too much technical, but also understanding the business benefits and how it's going to fit. The amount of pre-work that they have done, to come up with a use case. And of course, I understand that it will take time to mature the product itself into multiple phases. But with a lot of pre-work that they have done and the areas that they have picked up, and also some of the sub areas as well, instead of going for the title use cases, some of the specific areas that they picked up has been a little revealing. Yeah, I definitely did learn something today, and I appreciate everyone having their time investing this. Thanks, Joji, for.
Thank you, Madan sir. Shweta ma'am, please accept the certificate of appreciation on behalf of IPL, and we'd like to hear your experience on today's Skillathon.
Thank you, Joji. Thank you for the certificate. And I think it was a good experience, judging them. And I realized that a lot of them were, a lot of the people here who were participants were senior, they were working already somewhere and they're doing some of this, ideas and all of that. So I really appreciate that the enthusiasm and the energy to run and think about new skills and, really believing that you guys can, really think about new products, new ideas, and be able to, come out of them and just spend time on that, and think about this and take them to the product level, take them to the market, really solving the problem. So this has been great experience. I do believe that I think we have to think as a, general, from an India industry perspective and the tech industry perspective. I think all of this were real problems that we have in the market right now to solve, and there are much more. So I think we have a long way to go. So I really wish all the best to all the participants, and I really hope that whoever is the winner, I don't think that matters. It's the effort that everybody put in together, and the fact that we have to keep on trying and keep on doing these things again and again for somewhere to succeed. So I think that value is very, very important, and to hold on to that is important. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the kind words. Purnachand sir, here is our certificate of appreciation on behalf of IPL. Yeah, please share a few words about today's Skillathon experience.
First of all, thanks, Joji, and really, I would like to share a couple of things over this call so that the events or the entire product or presentations, everybody who has put into tremendous effort is phenomenal. The biggest thing is that the real world use cases which you guys have presented, I do learn from those use cases that yes, these are the pain points to which we are trying to solve it, and then we are trying to connect it to the real world use cases. And then the amount of effort you guys put in is pretty good, because these are all not cannot be solved even though we have so much help from different kinds of LLMs and all those things. But the thought behind it, again, the human in loop concept, that would really bring these things into the industry. And yes, we are trying to close the gap, the issues, especially in our Indian tech or all other industries, where we would love to bridge the gap to make it more efficient. And one last thing is that converting entire unorganized sector to organized sector is biggest challenge with the country sees in the last 10 to 15 years. As the growing country, we would love to try and solve those problems. And all the four product or presentations which shared over here literally brings huge value to the industry as well as to everybody. And yes, I would be very fortunate to look into these use cases at technical and as well as business and product level depth. Thank you so much, and all the best to every one of you, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Purnachand. We appreciate all the juries for coming out today on this event and your presence on this platform. Your insightful feedback and questions, I'm sure, will encourage the students to look into the product with more clarity. Thank you once again for being here. Now let's move on to declare the winner for today's Skillathon. Audience, any guesses? You can maybe just put a message in the chat, or you can say it out loud.
Maybe.
All right, let's not keep it further. Congratulations, Team B, Team 2, which is Somideep, Mohammed, Irshad, and Merin Joy on winning today's Skillathon. Please take a few minutes or few seconds to share your experience on today's Skillathon.
Yeah, I would go, and it was a really great experience. From our regular book of work, we all together, like me, Samadi, Mohammed, we all together came together, and it was a week's effort. And we could think different perspectives. It's not only to the product, but what all other areas like. So that's what the great experience we had, and something. I mean, I'm from product. I'm very passionate about product management, so this was very much a good experience for us. Thank you, IPL, and thank you the judges for judging us and giving their perspectives as well. What else we should, in addition, we should think about. So thank you all for it.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
a couple of things.
Yeah.
One is all the presentations were good, not only ours. So it was good, but today we had little more luck. And then it was good working with, I know Miran for years, but this is the project we're working on first time. I mean, for a couple of years, I think, and Samidi, I mean, we work as a team. I mean, when we formed this, it was new. I didn't know how do we go about it, but it is like we have been working through this for months and months now. So it's smooth now. And congratulations to everybody. I think everybody put in their effort. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, some final thoughts from my end as well. I believe that it was a great learning experience listening to the feedback. I really appreciate the feedback that has come to us. We will definitely work on those. Great teamwork. I have always said that a will begun is half done and all will that ends well. So it is true for us at this moment. So we should celebrate. And congratulations to all other teams who have come this far. The product ideas are really good. This is the first time that I'm part of a product kind of environment where I'm working with the product people and learning a lot of things from them, a lot of good ideas that I have seen. So we should continue learning and growing the way the platform IPL is providing us. So thank you all, and thanks my team members, and finally my sincere gratitude to the respective juries. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, team. Once again, congratulations. So with that, we have come to the end of today's Skillathon. Thank you, audience and dear jury members, once again for joining us on today's Skillathon. Until next time, thank you, take care, and have a good evening.
No, hi, Joji.
Hey.
I have a question actually. See, this is like how the participants are enrolled here. Is that your students? Or? I cannot hear.
You're talking on mute.
Oh, yeah, these are our students. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, see the only item. See, I actually came in the middle. So the last two, and the other one only half of it. The general item is. I mean, these things are really good, and we have all the latest tools for developing, prototyping, and all other things, right? So the only suggestion is, there are so many things changing now. So now, for example, the background verification, the hiring, the entire life cycle of the entire hiring process is being transformed because of AI agents and so many other things, right? So I think the products which I have seen probably need to be little more forward looking, because the time when they come up, because it's so dynamic today, right? Things are being changing like anything. So probably they can further look into advancing the things for the the time when they come up with the product, probably after 1 month or 2 months or 3 months later down the line, because now we have been developing AI recruiter and other things without human involvement. Everything is being checked by agents, right? And they do the voice interviews, video interviews, background verification. And because of the blockchain and other things, the certification verification is already being, every university can have blockchain based tags and can do the verification today. So, little bit futuristic way they can advance probably, the agentic.
Yeah, sure. We'll take that into
Definitely.
consideration. Thank you so much for your words. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we can call it a day. Have a really good evening, and let's look forward to the next Skillathon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Can we talk for a minute, Georgie, if you're available? I think he left.
Is it Mohammed Irshad?
Yeah, I'll call you. I mean, maybe I'll call you.
Yeah.